Hello, friends. We were scheduled to have an opera at our school at the beginning of April, which was canceled. But the good news is we get to see a video performance of the opera right in the comfort of your home. Okay? You might have heard me talk in class about the opera this year was going to be about pirates. And we were just getting ready to learn about it when we stopped coming to school. So we're going to do a little overview today of what an opera is. For second graders, this is a new idea. For third and fourth graders, most of you have seen operas before at our school. The idea of an opera is telling a story with music. If I was at the opera, I would sing most of what I wanted to say. I would use my body to show my feelings about what was happening in the story. So we're going to talk a little bit about some things you might expect to see in an opera. But the general idea is telling a story through singing and music. Acting. If I was at an opera and I was watching an opera singer and they were saying, "I'm so angry," that wouldn't be very good acting, would it? Opera singers use their body and their face to express and pretend that they are someone else. But if the opera singer said, "I'm so angry, I could scream," that's more of an example of what somebody might express on their face. Right? So when we see an opera, people aren't just standing there like toothpicks. They're acting out with their whole body and with their face to show the feelings of their character. Okay? Another thing we might expect to see are costumes. Okay? Costumes have to do with a story. So a story about pirates, what kind of things do you think they might be wearing? What kind of things would a pirate wear? Do you think some of their shirts and things and their hats might be kind of old-fashioned looking? Right? Wait and see when we start watching the recording next time. Sets and scenery, those are things to try to show where the opera is taking place. This particular one is an example from a famous opera and story, the Hansel and Gretel opera. All right? But for this opera about pirates, I would expect to see some ships and things that would have to do with sailing. Dancing. A lot of operas have parts where people get up and dance a little bit. Singing. We already talked about singing our feelings. That's what opera singers do. And an orchestra at a grown-up opera accompanies the singers and plays music in between things. At our school, and the performance that we'll see when we've had operas, they use a piano. But the person plays the piano so skillfully, it sounds kind of like an orchestra playing. One of the things that we sometimes talk about opera being good at doing is integrating the fine arts. And if you think of like the kind of things you do in art class with Mrs. Wick, with shapes and colors and drawings and designs, okay? That would tie into the sets and the scenery and the costumes. Okay? So that brings an element of what we call that visual art, the kind of art you would look at. Acting is also considered one of the arts, or sometimes people call it drama. Okay? And of course, the singing and the music are fine arts. And then dancing, that's another way that people can show feelings and ideas. So when we're watching opera, we're seeing dance and drama and art and music being all brought together at one time. That's a good overview of what an opera is. Now we're going to talk about the characters in the story for the Pirates of Penzance, so that next time when I give you the story to read and watch, it will make a little bit more sense. Now, the main character in the opera is Frederick. Frederick is a handsome young man, and he was an orphan, but after his parents died, his nurse, Ruth, who was entrusted with his care to take care of him, make sure he had a good life, she thought his father had said to give him to a pilot to raise him, like a pilot of a ship or something. And she was mixed up, and she gave him to a pirate instead of a pilot. So Frederick has been raised by pirates, and he's had a good life, but he doesn't like the way sometimes pirates have to lie or try to steal things from people. And he's having his birthday. He's 21 years old, and he decides that as much as he loves the pirates, he doesn't want to be a pirate anymore. And that's something that they're celebrating on his birthday. He meets a lovely young lady named Mabel, and he asks her if she'll marry him, and she says yes. Okay? So they become engaged to be married. Her father is the Major General. The Major General is a very kindly gentleman who is also in charge of children that don't have homes or orphans. Sometimes they're called wards in the story. Okay? He's in charge of making sure that they have a good life and protecting them, but he's also Mabel's father. Okay? There are constables in the story, which are played by children. A constable is an English word for a policeman, okay? And they're going to be part of the story that we'll read about and see. We'll see lots of pirates. The pirates are played by children. And the other adult we haven't talked about is the Pirate King. He is the leader of the pirates, and he is a very proud man. That is an overview of the characters that you will see in the opera. And remember, you will see them acting, wearing costumes. You'll see them with sets and scenery, dancing, singing. Okay? Next time, when you tune into the next video, we'll read the story and we'll start watching the first half of the opera. It will be great fun, and I'm looking forward to having you watch with me. Have a great day.